Welcome to No Left Field, the show for busting boundaries and expanding possibilities.
And we have fun doing it.
Do we, though?
Hey, listeners, we're back. After Ro and I do some catching up, Colette and Ed rejoin us. And this time, it's all about Prayer Porch. We're still learning how best to position the microphone, so you'll hear my voice coming through a bit louder than the others. It's a wide-ranging and thorough conversation. So pull up a porch swing, or whatever makes you feel at home, and settle in. Hey, Rowena.
Hey, Jason.
Welcome back to the studio.
I love being here.
It was a much shorter break than last time, only 9 days since our last recording.
Wow. Wasn't it it was a Wednesday.
It was a Wednesday, yes, and now it is a Friday.
Friday, July 17th.
2026.
Sick.
Go on. I love being here in the studio with you as well. Why don't we start this time with your situation? Actually, I'm going to ask you kind of a leading question.
Okay.
I believe the very, very last words that were spoken on the previous episode were "be gone," and we were referring specifically to your nightclub hot tub knee injury.
Yeah, that.
So we said we never wanted to talk about it again, but we should.
Yeah.
But we're talking about it for a good reason, right?
Yes, because it's gone.
Yeah. Is it like all the way gone?
Yes, I'm going to declare it gone. And what really helped was dancing. Right? So
Talking about no
the
left
next
field.
day.
Yes, let's do exactly the thing that got us injured.
I couldn't
to
help it.
Heal the injury.
Our friends Kira and Pete were visiting, and it was Valencia Live, which is a street party in our neighborhood. And my neighbor DJ Lamont, aka Finger Snaps, was DJing, and it was Missy Elliott, and there was absolutely no stopping this wiggle.
I witnessed this.
I
warned you off.
You did. You did.
That was the day after our last recording.
Exactly. When it was
8 days
when
ago.
I had just gone to the doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and they told me I had arthritis. I mean, I think that
It's such a generic,
I
lazy
know.
diagnosis. No offense to
I
the
know.
medical professionals listening to this.
No, I know. It was kind of great because that was good news. I mean, if that's what I have, I could manage arthritis. I'm glad there was nothing, torn.
Mm-hmm.
So my knee recovered with movement. Movement is medicine. So movement is medicine. I did kind of dance extra on one leg that night, which was kind of hilarious too, because I was like hopping around.
So you're like favoring.
I was favoring my good leg,
Mm-hmm.
which thankfully didn't get compromised in
Right,
that.
'cause that happens a lot.
It does, right? It's a great time. It was a great time. And then, I did some, conscious exercise this week for knee health.
Oh, good. So you've been doing PT.
Well, I've been teaching my classes. So I teach classes for older people, many of whom have their own knee challenges. And so I was just like, requesting knee stuff of myself as the sort of, I get to decide what I'm teaching. And I decided to teach a lot of stuff that was good for my knees, which was like a lot of love on the knee. So one of my favorite things to do is knee circles and just really like I'm doing right now, like
rubbing on your knees.
Rubbing on my knees and sending good juju into the knees and thanking them for all of the miles that they have on them, all of the nights of reverie that they've I was going to say tolerated, but really like made possible.
Mm-hmm.
So loving that. And I taught this morning and I felt, I'm wearing a knee brace as a, protection prophylactic, and also it feels good. I love the compression. I love compression generally. I'm kind of a compressed person, so I work a lot. I think, what is it? We like do the work we need in our lives. So trying to uncompress and decompress and stretch, and that has become something that I love so much so that I don't feel. Ooh, you're giving me a look.
Well, I'm confused because
You don't think of me as compressed?
not like not only what could be more opposite.
Tightly wound? Is tightly wound compressed?
I mean, those two metaphors are compatible.
Okay.
But I don't think of you as tightly wound either. I mean, you've got the things that piss you off and annoy you. So do I. Colette does too, and Ed does, and I think every human that I know does. But I've known tightly wound people. And you are not one of them. You're not even close to somebody. Like, it is like in all the adjectives that I would list for you.
Interesting.
Let's say tightly wound was on a list of 100 adjectives, it would be in the 80s or 90s probably in my ranking list.
Wow.
So
wow.
it's interesting.
It is, right?
You perceive yourself as compressed and tightly wound.
Yes.
Wow.
But I appreciate that you don't see me that way, and I could see your outside perspective.
Well, that's good.
I will say that I have to code switch all day long. I teach these classes. Now I'm teaching 5 classes 3 days a week. This week recommitted to editing a local dance magazine. I also worked this week with my collaborator Ryan on a For You project. That's my live folk art, social practice, performance making pleasure job.
People can reference season 1, episode 2 or 3.
Yes, Love Bombs. Love Bombs. Awesome. Yes, please go back. Because we're picking that up. We're going to do some more work with some folks. The theme is falling. And actually, I've been starting to work on a class on how to fall. So I teach fall prevention, and I have like tons of, there's lots of ways that we can work on fall prevention, but I'm like, but people fall. So how do we teach them to fall in the way that is the most, least damaging? So
what's the final exam
about that? What?
Sorry. I said, what's the final exam?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just sorry. It's very...
I push them off of the balcony and see what happens. That's awesome. I love that your mind went there. Very slapstick.
Totally slapstick.
But it's funny that you should say that, because my persona for that is going to be Raggedy Row, because the way to fall is ragdoll, like relaxation. So Raggedy Row. And I was thinking something along like Rocky Horror Picture Show, like, let's learn how to fall again. Like, so a little jingle. I might sing it for us at some point when it's all together. Anyways, that was something I was working on this week. And then I have some awesome work with the hummingbirds. And this is my work, one-on-one work, often with people living with dementia. And I have some really interesting clients right now, from one who lives mostly independently and is pretty able-bodied and sharp, to one who lives in a memory care residential facility and is pretty far along, but ambulatory. And so it's a lot of wandering. It's a lot of perseverating. And one who is my neighbor, who is also clinically at the moderate stage of mild, moderate, severe. It's just kind of a 3-chapter scale. And she lives close to me. That's why she's my neighbor, and has declined since I've met her in some ways, and particularly behaviorally. She has become very consistently rejecting of my arrival. So basically, I ring the doorbell, she opens the door and says, no, I can't, I'm sorry, you need to leave. And this has been going on for about 6 months consistently. That was, sometimes I've been working with her for a year. Last 6 months consistently, I arrive, she asks me to leave, and we've tried all kinds of strategies to persuade her otherwise, but it's caused a lot of stress and suffering for both of us. And the last few weeks, I have decided that I will respect her request for me to leave, or, her demand. And this week, that meant that I was sitting on the sidewalk on a super blustery. So the rest of the country might be enjoying summer, or at least many places are. It's too hot. Here
And
we've
wildfire
had
smoke too.
wildfire smoke. Yeah. Here we have good air, but it's on full blast. There's especially in San Francisco, it's so windy and it was cold. And I was sitting on the pavement, kind of casing her house, waiting like 20-minute intervals between attempts to connect with her, because she has short-term memory, right? So I can sort of come back and be like, hey.
And she won't remember having just seen you.
Except she was like, the second time she was like, no. And I already told you that. And I was like, well, that's interesting, because I think I waited a whole half an hour. Whereas other times it really depends. Like what she's, experiencing agitation wise, the chemistry. I don't know all the factors, but it was a full 2 hours into our 2.5-hour session that I finally got her to admit me. And then we had a pretty beautiful half hour, 45 minutes together. I kind of called the shots because our time was so compressed. Speaking of compression, often if we had a more spacious thing, I'd really let her initiate, because that seems to work for us. Like if she feels like I'm, leading something, she gets anxious. So, but in this case, I was like, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a cup of tea. There are lemon tarts in the refrigerator. I brought scones. We're going to sit down and have tea and scones. And it kind of caught her off guard in a good way, where she followed the instructions and sort of kind of came around to taking the suggestion. And I feel like we got somewhere. Well, I mean, the word love bomb just came into my mind for the sort of intensity. But in this case, I'll say like she loved bombed me. Like and I guess in sort of concluding my introduction, just like I went to a yoga class right after that time, and just realized how much, I'm not going to call it trauma, but like low grade trauma, or like just a lot of visceral stress was in my body.
This client has spiritual practice. I mean, you have weathered so much with this client, and I've commented to you separately about how I've seen you grow, how a year ago you would come back completely frazzled, just like who is like barely recognizable. And how you have taken it upon yourself, taken this as a spiritual project and process for yourself, has been really something to behold and worthy of admiration.
Thank you.
Yeah. If we could, I'd like to return to, see how this lands for you, because just the theme of healing is what I want to call forth. And it seems to me like there's been some healing for you that's been happening through this process with this client. Would you say, does that land for you?
I'm flashing on a moment yesterday. So after being kicked to the curb, after regaining or gaining entry, having tea, then the client's partner comes home. we continued to have a little digest. I felt a kind of freneticness, like it was hard for me to settle in. Like I said, I was sort of like task mastering, like, we're going to have tea, we're going to eat scone, we're going to have these lemon tarts, we're going to sit down, we're going to have a good time right now, taking advantage of this, because we're putting this in the tank. We need to bank these good moments to cultivate more connection, to cultivate more intimacy. And I wasn't in a rush to leave like I often am when the partner comes home, because I'm like done, right? It's been a lot. I put my arms around the client and I leaned in and I said, I love you, Goldilocks.
Oh.
And I was like, can I be Mama Bear? Can I be Mama Bear? And the client let me. And there's such affection when it's good with us. Cheer, genuine maternal affection both ways. Like, I am mothered by the client at times, who is a mother. And I've seen like an incredible flip when the grandkids arrive, where the client knows exactly how to mother and grandmother like it. It's so deep, right? It's just foundational to their essence. And I think I can call that up more deeply now. And so if that is healing, if there's like a healing practice that is so accessible a year into like feeling a lot of like threat from this dynamic, feeling threatened, feeling, a lot of uncertainty about whether I'm okay or not. I do feel healing in that sense, and I'm so invested in an ongoing way, even as it's so freaking hard. And I think part of that is I'm drawn to this spiritual practice. I'm drawn to tapping into my resources of presence, of compassion, of empathy, of flexibility, of improvisation, of nurturing, of praying and being with a very unpredictable entity, human person, and loving through that and loving through me. But it's channeling everything and coming through me from the trees, from the neighbors, from my commitment to the mission of whole person care, so that if I'm on the receiving end of that, hopefully I will be receptive in those ways that I want this client to be receptive.
Oh, it's beautiful. There's a lot of directions one could go. I'll just share this, which is today I re-listened to an episode of The Spiritual Life with Father Jim Martin, where he interviewed Father Greg Boyle. Absolutely
I
extraordinary.
still haven't listened to that, and I know that is that like your third listen?
My second
It's
listen.
your second. Okay.
And I'm not going to get the wording exactly right. But there's a lot of beautiful moments in this interview, in this conversation, but it's something about, that just resonated from what you just said, that, if I can I wish I had the actual words from the conversation because it was just so perfect. But the gist was, if I can receive a particular kind of love, then I can also pass it along. If I can receive a certain kind of healing, then I can pass it along. And that's what I'm picking up on in what
That
you
was
just shared.
perfectly said.
That's very kind of you. I can't recommend enough this interview.
Maybe we can put it in the show notes.
Okay, good.
Thank you for that. And yes, this kind of love she's doing the best she can.
Mm.
She's doing the best she can. And that's what her family wants for her, which is why she's home and not in a care facility where she would be heavily, heavily sedated
Right.
if she were to present this kind of behavioral challenge
Right.
to the staff and
Right.
be a risk
Mm.
for her fellow residents.
I also don't want to go without remarking on just how beautiful the image is of that hug that you shared.
Mm.
Come on now.
It was so sweet. It was, thank you. I'm glad you think so. I will draw on that next week and probably the week after.
Great.
When I'm outside.
Yeah. Good.
Hi. Thank you for all of that.
Thank you for all of
inquiry
that.
and follow-up. Speaking of himself, how is what we say on the prayer porch is little old you? Did we say that? Am I saying that right?
Here's where it came from.
Yeah.
It was one morning on the porch where we were taking turns and everyone had gone except for me, and I think either you or Ed said, "What about you, Jason?" And I said, "Little old me," and it just became a thing.
No, you're little old you, or little old himself.
Yeah.
Because as you know, Jason is the largest of us, even as Ed's 6'1". You're 6'4"?
Yes. Well, I hope. That's been my height. I mean, I've probably shrunk a bit. I don't know.
But where your platform slides.
Something like that.
Yes. Okay. How is little old you?
How's little old me? Right now, I'm great. It's Friday night. You and Ed are over. We're recording. It's fun.
We need to do this. We need to keep doing this.
We need to keep doing this. Yeah. Yeah.
And you had a good day. You did something delightful today.
I did something delightful. That's how I characterize it. But let's back up one quick sec before I come to that.
Okay.
And pick up 9 days ago, the day after.
Okay.
Our last recording was a shitty ass day because I finally got a no from
God.
one job that I as I said, it was no news is bad news, and I had just been waiting, and the news finally came. And when it came over email, and I had the presence of mind to close my eyes and feel my entire body bathed in whatever those nasty chemicals are. It was just top to bottom, every single cubic millimeter of my body was hurting.
I hate that.
Yeah.
It was
just like this hurt. It just like the physicality of it was so undeniable. And I don't remember, things just happen so quickly and it's hard to keep track of it all. I remember just going through a couple of days of just feeling the hurt and feeling the sadness and crying a lot. Colette was just so sweet. There was one breakdown that I had in particular. I think it was Friday morning. Where I was, it was just like, I was just hurting so bad and wanting so badly for it to be over. And Colette was just literally and figuratively holding me very sweetly and very tenderly. And it was, I was very, just grateful beyond measure for her love and care of me. In between, so the day I got the shitty news was Valencia Live night, Kira and Pete visiting, and it was nice to just be with them and be with you all and have special time with those very, very special and wonderful people.
Funny too.
Funny.
Good comic relief.
Really good comic relief.
I didn't make the connection that was the same day, though.
It was the same day.
You showed up very well, considering it was the same day.
It's part of my hedonistic nature. It's part of my dog optimistic nature. I'm not that hard to distract.
Mm-hmm.
If there's good friends and libations, which there were.
Really good tacos or burritos.
Yeah, yeah, I had a really good burrito. Yummy. Um, so that was really nice. And then a couple other opportunities just kind of popped into my space. I don't know if any of them's going anywhere. But then this other job, the one that I quote unquote don't want, came a knocking. Also, I think the next day I got an email from one of the people who would be my boss, one of my bosses. This is the interview I showed up for, Authentic, that I talked about
Yes.
last week.
Yes.
Yeah. And saying he was in town and wanted to, quote, continue the conversation. It's like, okay, guess I didn't bomb that interview. And I talked about having two goals: showing up authentic, which I knew I had met because it felt right, and that I suspected that they had enjoyed meeting me.
Yes.
And figured if that hadn't been the case, he probably wouldn't be inviting me to an in-person meeting. Well, that meeting happened today.
Amazing.
The first thing he said to me was, "I really enjoyed meeting you." That was a high five if the software cut it out.
Cut it out.
Yeah. And we spoke for about an hour and a half. Talking shop. But the first thing he wanted to know, or he wanted to explore with me, was, this job is far away.
Uh-huh.
What about that?
That sounds promising.
Yeah, I found out later in the conversation that they're
Okay.
talking to at least one other person.
Okay.
So I'm not like the pick or the finalist, but
Okay.
I think I've got a really good shot.
Yeah.
And then, so between those, it was just a lot of talking shop, which is, I love it when conversations are like that. You know, he's sharing with me about what's been happening at the organization, challenges and opportunities, and I'm asking him questions, follow-up questions from the interview, and it was just felt very easy and flowy and natural and very aligned.
That's awesome.
Yeah, really good. Actually, a couple days prior, there was this funny realization that I had. I was in preparation for this. I wanted to go in, have it like learning a lot about. I mean, I can go ahead and say this. This has to do with Chinese studies.
Yeah.
And it's a field I haven't been in. One of the things that when I said I don't feel like a subject matter expert anymore, specifically, it's in Chinese studies.
Okay.
I was at the Hopkins Nanjing Center for 3 years. That's the job that I left when we moved here 12 years ago.
Yes.
And I've really been out of the field.
Okay.
Barely tracking what's going on in that field for 12 years. Why did I mention that in this context?
You brushed up on.
Yes, yes. And so, like, universities, this is a job at a university, have been under a lot of scrutiny in a lot of ways in Trump 2.0. And I wanted to just get more of a sense of the lay of the land of, like, how are these challenges showing up? And Colette briefed me about what she sees from the study abroad side. And she suggested that I call an old friend of ours who's been in Shanghai now, working for a U.S. university for 13 years.
Okay.
And so we had a chat, and I shared with him one of the recurring narrative, like, story of my career in a way, is like, I'm either too academic or I'm not academic enough.
Oh, God.
It's like for any given job, I'm too academic or I'm not academic enough.
Okay.
It is a recurring thing.
Okay.
And he laughed at that, and he said, I'm so surprised that, given your background, you haven't had any of them like land. And I said, I said that, and then I also said, by this stage of my career, I'm supposed to have specialized. I'm a generalist. I've got a lot of transferable skills, but there aren't that many job descriptions. Job descriptions are generally inside of certain career paths, not my career paths. You take just about any job description that's out there, somebody at this stage in their career is going to have a lot of really deep subject matter expertise that I don't have. I've got the transferable skills, and it's been those opportunities, these very interconnecting kinds of positions, where I've gotten folks' attention, and in 2 cases, maybe 3 now, become a finalist. Well, this third one's different. And here's how it's different. So at the end of this conversation with my friend, he said, well, it sounds like a really good fit for you. And by the way, you actually really do have subject matter expertise. I was like, I do.
In this.
Yes, like this is, to the extent that I have a specialty, it's freaking Chinese studies.
Amazing.
And yes, I've been out of the field for 12 years, but I have subject matter expertise in this arena.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was funny to kind of realize. And at the very end of the conversation today,
yes,
I shared with this person, what I just shared with you, that at any given point, I'm either not academic enough or too academic. And he laughed.
awesome.
And the context was I was sharing about many, 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 many years ago, a job that I didn't get at the University of Montana.
Okay.
At the Maureen Mansfield Center for Modern Asian Affairs, because I wasn't academic enough.
Okay.
They were looking for like full professor.
Okay.
And he laughed. He thought it was quite amusing. And he said, well, you've got just the right combination for this position.
Sweet.
Which it was so nice because I felt seen, recognized, and also like
validated.
Validated. Yeah. Validated.
Plus. Okay.
Yeah. So as I've been saying again and again and again, quoting, I believe it's Dr. Dre at the beginning of a song from an NWA album from like right about 1990-ish. The motherfucking saga continues.
That's like a scratch version of that horror sound.
Yeah, I guess so.
Boom.
Yeah, and in the meantime, the emotional landscape, it's still vinegary. It feels a little softer after my breakdown last week.
Can I say something about that?
Please.
Because I said, I hate that for you, all the pain that you were feeling. But I love that you had the presence of mind to close your eyes and go through that. That is awesome. I love that. I
really
love that
grateful
you
that it happened.
Felt it, that you didn't push it away or bottle it up or repress and take it out in some other way or choke it back, whatever. Like you let it and you were with it. And this is life. We need to do that. We need to do that more. There's so many painful things and we
have so many defense mechanisms.
We have
so many ways of preventing ourselves from
and justifying how we shouldn't experience, right? Preventing ourselves from actually experiencing. And it was a big cathartic. It was like then and the next day and a couple of days, right? So we keep moving through, at
least moving along. At least moving along.
Yes.
And I don't. And I think to bring it back to how does one handle an embarrassment of riches? When this chapter concludes and this next chapter opens up, a chapter that is presumably, I hope, a more abundant chapter when it comes to the activation of my neurons and my ability to contribute my skills and talents to something meaningful and in concert with others and also be remunerative. All of that abundance. I want to do better than I've done in the past at honoring. I don't want to just wish away all of this. Yeah. It's a gift to be given access to the hurt.
This is your spiritual practice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a gift to be given access to the pain. We have so many, like I was saying, so many mechanisms. They're instantaneous. They just happen. And I don't like feeling it, but I know that it's a gift.
Yeah. Thank God you had Colette there to scoop you up. But...
And you and Ed. Yeah. And I knew with Carrie and Pete, I don't know them well, but they're the kinds of folks you don't really have to have a lot of time with to develop a deep connection with.
Yes. there.
And you were there when, so Colette was with you all at the taqueria, and then I showed up with the dog, and the dog couldn't come in. So Colette went with the dog back to your place, and I came and ate my burrito with you all. But Pete said, "How are you doing?" I said, "I'm doing really well. I've had a shitty couple days."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And just it's nice to just be able to say that and just go on, just keep moving ahead to whatever's next. Which for us is going upstairs and finally starting with the story of Prayer Porch. Let's go. Let's go. And we're back, all four of us.
Hello.
Welcome back, Colette and Ed.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks for inviting us back. It was so much fun last time.
It was so much fun last time.
Sure
it was
if you
so
would
much
listen
fun.
To the recording, you'd be like, okay, next around, I guess. The opposite. I loved hearing your voices. I really did. I loved hearing your voices. Doing very good podcast voices.
You do. Both of you have really good podcast voices and podcast presence.
We have faces for radio.
That is not true.
I had a friend once who was talking about a sports reporter that he admires, saying he has a voice made for print. Yeah, and it's totally true. Is Bill Simmons? I don't know if he was with ESPN for a long time. Anyway, yeah. No, definitely not. So we are actually going to talk about Prayer Porch. And in a moment, I'll invite Ed to start the story. Before that, though, I want to just comment on listening to our recording from last week. So it's been 9 days. That was July 8th. It's now July 17th. And I've listened to it a couple of times, doing all the editing and all of that stuff. But it was kind of like Prayer Porch. I mean, it didn't have all the trappings of Prayer Porch, but, we're throwing in prayer of this, prayer of that. And that's such a, hallmark of Prayer Porch. So I feel like our listeners already do have a little bit of a sense of what Prayer Porch is and how it works and all of that. But, and there will certainly be times during this conversation where it feels very Prayer Porchy.
Yes. That's great.
Yeah. Show don't tell. Exactly. Totally. Yeah.
But no, telling is kind of cool too.
And there's a lot to be told.
Yeah.
Perfect, Rowena, teeing up there. As I kick it over to you, Ed, to tell the story of how Prayer Porch came to be.
Thanks. Prayer Porch has a kind of tragic beginning and lovely ending, or current place, I would say. Prayer Porch comes out of a very difficult moment in my family, or my extended family, where my cousin Billy Tobin died when he was 19 years old, about 14 years ago. And it was a freak accident where he hit his head out one night and died. And the next morning, my Uncle Mike and Aunt Dorothea were distraught. And my Aunt Dorothea's sister, Peggy McNamara, came over to try to comfort them and said, "Let's pray." And so the three of them prayed on their porch on Ridge Road in Chicago, for Billy, for themselves in this grieving state. And they haven't stopped. Every day since that day after Billy died, they have been praying on the Prayer Porch, gathering more and more people who have often had loss in their own family, and friends and family, such that they have a community of maybe several dozen people that are sometimes or frequent or always members there. They meet on the porch, even in the dead of winter when it's freezing. There are heat lamps out there. Dorothea typically makes scones, homemade scones, and coffee is served. And at this point, Mike and Dorothea might be the only ones there physically because they have a lot of Zoom attendees where they're calling in from all over the world, mostly in Chicago, the Chicago area, but there's a California couple that gets up early, 4:30 their time to make the 6:30 Central call. And this ritual inspired me because I visited Mike and Dorothea not long after Billy died. And Rowena was with me one of those visits, and we saw this moving attempt to make sense of a tragic, terrible loss. And maybe I'll let Rowena take it from there in terms of how that led to Prayer Porch West.
Can I jump in just for 1 second with
Yeah.
a little bit more context about Billy?
Mm-hmm.
Youngest, he was their baby, 7 kids.
Yeah.
And I had the opportunity to meet Billy Tobin 17 years ago when I first met Mike and Dorothea, because they generously hosted me at another difficult professional moment for me.
Thank God for the difficult professional moment.
This is like the OG difficult professional moment for me. But anyway, I was in desperate need of, I was getting some great training that led to a lot of really wonderful things in my career. And I didn't have a place to stay in Chicago, and they hosted me, and Billy was the only one still at home. And we watched the Celtics play the Bulls. It was the NBA season. It was April. So it was I think it might have been the first round of the playoffs. And he was such a spark, such a light, just a wonderful young man. And so I'm saying, I'm sharing that, and I appreciate you letting me just jump in, just because, you could conjure up in your brain, anyone can conjure up in their brain, you put 2 and 2 together and recognize that it would be an unbearable tragedy to lose a child. And I just want to make it, as of course our listeners don't know Billy, don't know Mike and Dorothea. Well, maybe Mike and Dorothea are listening. Love you, Mike and Dorothea. But most of our listeners won't. And so I just wanted to put a little more, flesh on the bones about this amazing young man. What a sweet. He was famous for being a great dancer. Mm-hmm. Right.
And tree climber.
And tree climber. Like parkour, right? Urban parkour.
He also had a famous statement, which is disrupt the nonsense. And he made business cards that had some of these phrases on it. I think disrupted nonsense might have been on there, but he had a card that had his phone number, and it said fax. Nope. No fax in Billy Tobin.
FAX, fax.
Yeah, fax. Like back in the day of fax machines, he was not going for it. But yeah, he was a total character, and there's plenty of more flesh to put on the bones there, if you will. One thing I'll add is he such a generous dancer too. And in one of my writings over the past year, I highlighted this image of Billy looking at his cousin Bree while dancing, and Dorothea captured this idea that he was looking at Bree through the eyes of God, with this sense of seeing her spirit. Bree is also developmentally disabled, a status that many people write off and don't take people with those kind of disabilities seriously. Not Billy Tobin or anybody in the Tobin family, and the level of which of intent, communication, and generosity with which Billy was viewing Bree while dancing with her is a beautiful thing. And so the Prayer Porch has that Billy spirit of wonderful spiritual power. And not, anybody who dies is going to be a tragedy for their loved ones. And it feels like Billy brought something extra, at least to our family and to everyone who knows him. And it's partly what I think has helped the Prayer Porch be as powerful as it's been.
Thank you for all that.
Amen.
I'm remembering when Billy died. So our kids were 9 and 7, which is a tender age to sort of project somebody dying, a child of ours dying. I had Colette, you were in China. You guys were in China, and I remember you called me and invited me to channel Billy. And I really tried to connect with him. And what I got was him going, fuck, like, I'm 19, like, go back. And this attachment to grief, this kind of fixedness of grief is dangerous. It's a place that I can quickly hunker down. And I've always said, you know, if one of our kids died, God forbid, I would nail myself in a coffin. Like, it's over, game over, life over. And I think one of the things that's so powerful about Prayer Porch is Mike and Dorothea's response. Of course, they were devastated, and there is grief every day. They're conjuring Billy. They're thinking about Billy. Very present tense. I feel like they recreated, or they've just continued to have a relationship with Billy. They've shifted. They've pivoted. Billy still is very alive in the Tobin's life, and more alive to more people than maybe he was incarnate. And there's mostly joy. You heard coffee and scones. There's music, there's poetry, and there's community fellowship. There's a lot of energy and positivity that has come out of Billy's passing. I would call it like a crossing over. Like we have crossed over as Billy crossed over. And so I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for the role models of the Tobins and this ritual that they've taught us. You know, it was never their intention to do this, you know, to have this response, and yet they're holding so many of us, and it's medicine for themselves as well. I know. So I can't remember the first time we experienced Prayer Porch, but I know that I was so healed through that I wanted that in my own life. And I don't think we knew about the Zoom. It was way pre-pandemic. Mm-hmm. So Skype would have been.
Yeah, that would have been the.
I think we've been practicing a Prayer Porch ritual here on the West Coast, so Prayer Porch West, for over a decade. I think. Mm-hmm. I don't remember.
Easily, I do.
Day one.
Yeah, so you've got the timeline, I think, Colette.
Yeah, so I don't recall how many. You were saying we were living in Nanjing. We were. I remember this when Billy died. And I think it was early in our Nanjing days. How many years has it been now?
12. Oh no, we've been here for 12 years.
So when did he pass away?
2014. 2014.
So that was the start.
2014, the same year that Ed lost his mom.
No, sorry, 2012.
2012, okay.
Okay,
so that might have been the first time you experienced Prayer Porch was after Ed's mom passed in 2014.
The memorial after the, yeah. So you were also bereaved when you went there. Okay. So
Uncle Mike's sister, Ed's mother, passed in 2014 summer, right about this time of year.
Very suddenly.
very joyously in the same home.
In that home. Yeah.
Where dancing in the kitchen, had a cardiac incident. So here's what I recall. I recall coming back. So I recall being connected with you all. Like you had said, we talked on the phone. Must have been on the phone. Maybe it was on Skype. I don't remember.
I know.
But across the Pacific, we tried to support you. And I remember when we came back for summer, like we always flew in and out of San Francisco. We always had a spell with you that we stayed there. And you had already started Prayer Porch.
Okay.
You had already started, the two of you, praying in the bay window in the sun seat, which was also your bedroom at the time. And I don't think there weren't any books or anything at the time. There was like the Serenity Prayer. And you had a printed out version of the Serenity Prayer, I remember. And so we were staying with you, and you were like, this is what we started. You told us the story about this. And so the three of us would sit there. It was just the three of us would sit there in the window for those, however many days, probably 3 or 4 days that we were staying with you, on the way there and on the way back. And I thought it was beautiful. So I do remember that every time we came to town, then there were probably 2 or 3 more such visits in the time that we lived in Emgene. How early was this in our Emgene days that you passed away? 2012?
Yeah, we were there from summer of 2011 to summer of 2014. So it was about a third of the way through.
So I feel like my earlier memories of Prayer Porch, like it was this thing we did with you when we stayed with you. We did, like I did with you, with kids scattered. But we never were. It was never a private thing. Like the kids were scattered about, interrupting, etc. And then when we moved back to the Bay Area, when we had lots of time in your apartment with you in the morning, like we'd sleep over and that sort of thing, where the three of us would do it. And then we started doing it deciding to just let's do it on the phone every morning. And at the time it was at 6:30 because we had chaos for kids to get out between our two families. I think probably by 7:10 at the latest. So, and it was, maybe we spent 20 minutes while we were like cooking breakfast, packing lunches, phones on speakers, like praying it up together. But it really was just the three of us doing this. This is what I recall. There's also another thing that I want to just toss in here, that I spoke with Dorothea about Prayer Porch as well, the origins of it, recently, because I had everyone Prayer Porch prayed for
your cousin
Leo and sent
That's what you find a point
beautiful prayers for him that we put in a bottle along with prayers from my family when we saw him in Rome last October. And the Prayer Porch, they're such expert prayers. Also from Chicago. These beautiful prayers for him. So I also brought, what Leo has, we could talk a little, what we call the Prayer Porch Missals, two little books that contain prayers. So I brought those for Leo as well, which he received very graciously. But I asked her version of the story. And one thing that really struck with me is that morning, it was in the darkness of the morning. And somehow I have 4:30 in my head, that this is when Peggy and her sisters were with her. They came right to the house. And the Dorothea said, "What do I do? I don't know what to do." And Peggy said, "Let's pray." And that really resonated with me. Because prior to all of these losses, like these are the close, we were there when Ed received the phone call about his mom's heart attack or cardiac event. Prior to this, I had lost my brother. Not that soon before this.
2010.
A year before Billy died.
2 years.
2 years before Billy died. It was the end of 2010. So, a year and a half before Billy died. I had been through my own sudden and very devastating loss of a young person in the family. And it really resonated with me how prayer was all I could do. It was all I could do. Yeah. So that's my memory. And I don't know if we want to talk about how it became a thing with you.
Sure. I've never been much of a joiner. And I think the concept of Prayer Porch sounded nice, but just didn't feel like me. I don't know. I was it's an old kind of bad habit of mine to sort of stand apart.
You're also our morning breakfast person. Like, since we've been married, every single morning this man makes a hot breakfast for me. For us. Like, we sit down to breakfast every morning, and he has done that with the children. And like, with anyone who sleeps over and is in the house, we often need to wait until he gets up, later than most of us. But
So
once he is up, it is so worth the wait. He makes a hot, really good breakfast. The coffee's pouring. It's like Dorothea and her scones. Like, we all wait in anticipation for Jason to arise and make breakfast. So in the chaos of our getting the kids out and Prayer Porch going on, Jason was also feeding the whole family. Yeah.
That's extraordinarily generous of you. I don't know if I may have been using that as an excuse not to join Prayer Porch. I recall the feeling of like, that's not really for me. Yeah. So
We read a lot of poetry and stuff on it too, now that I'm thinking about it, in the early days. I think there were like the literary genres that we were tapping into and stuff may also have been.
I remember I had an attitude problem with the Serenity Prayer too.
Oh, interesting.
Which is how we kick it off. But we'll get into the sort of the details of the how of Prayer Porch later. Thank you for your generous interpretation. I know from introspection that it was not a wholly part of me that was keeping me away from Prayer Porch. And I recall a conversation with you. I feel like it's funny. I feel like we were driving back from a race somewhere from the Sacramento area, and you appealed to me to give it a try. You just thought it would be really good for me. You wanted me there, and it was enough. I figured if it meant enough to you to make an appeal like that to me, then I was definitely going to listen to that and give it a try. And so I started joining. I don't know when the first time was that I joined, but that's when I started joining, however regularly it was.
I'm so glad you did.
I'm so glad I did too. I mean, it's become.
You say that it's. I mean, one other layer to peel back at the onion here is that Uncle Mike is my godfather, and I imagine if he's listening to this, I hope healthy from a recent infection that we all prayed about. He's done his work well. Like I've got a strong spiritual life, and it's expanding to my dear friend Jason Patton, and bringing in the heathens, if you will.
We won't.
No, it's not called heathen. But that's a part of this that makes this powerful for me, is that Uncle Mike was my godfather. I've always loved the religious version of the version of Catholicism that they practiced. Their religious life was very down to earth, and they had these community masses in a gym rather than a more formal, staid priest tells you everything. People could speak up in their homily time. He once was quoted in Time magazine saying, "We don't listen to that mumbo jumbo from the Pope," or something to that effect.
Different Pope.
Different Pope.
Before France, that would have been probably Cardinal Ratzinger, Pope Benedict.
Even before Benedict, I think.
Okay.
Long time ago. I'm not sure when about, but it was it might have been even like the 70s or 80s. But it was like a little scandalous in Catholic family.
Right.
Uncle Mike was quoted in Time magazine along.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I'm going to have to look for that quote.
But then I adopted Dorothea as my godmother-in-law, and my godmother-in-law initially died. My Aunt Gretchen, a wonderful woman, and Dorothea kind of welcomed me in as another person in her fold, which includes so many people.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Kids.
I'm officially asking them to be my godparents too. Can I do that? Yeah.
Here, it's on the pod.
It's on the record.
And it's on
My
the record.
godparents have passed as well, and they were never really godparents anyway.
Okay.
Bless their hearts. Andy and Carol. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
All right, Dorothea and Mike, you have another petitioner.
Anyway, sorry, I'm interrupting you.
That's fine. No, I'm just, that's mostly what I wanted to say, that this, the prayer porch for me has always been tied to this Catholic, beautiful parts of the Catholic faith. And Colette, you are part of that too. And so I think you should feel fine about asking that to your godparent. You have done so now.
You're also reminding me, if I can jump in, just I think that a big part of what attracted me to Prayer Porch was that it was completely and utterly non-denominational and obviously, or interdenominational and interreligious. Because those who have listened to season 2, episode 2, I believe, about my spiritual journey, I came to like the first religion that I was inspired by was Tibetan Buddhism, right? And all of us have pieces of our faiths that are not Christian, other than Christian, and
Pieces of practice,
right? So that I completely understand, and respect and all of that, the Catholic origins, and also this, I guess, kind of a San Francisco twist, right? It's like, we're just going to break some boundaries here and welcome everybody. And of course, Mike and Dorothea would welcome and do welcome people who aren't Catholic. I'll raise my hand as somebody who's not Catholic. And obviously you, Rowena, not Catholic. But anyway, that was a big part of what attracted me to the porch.
And just to add that, the original prayer, or one of the first prayers of the prayer porch, was the Serenity Prayer, which came out of the more interdenominational concept of Alcoholics Anonymous and Ellen, that Peggy brought from Challenges on Alcoholism.
I did not know that. Wow.
And, so that has always been, there's been a seed of interdenominational, pan-denominational spirituality that's always been part of it. And as Colette mentioned, those missals, the first Prayer Porch book, I think, had prayers or poetry from multiple faith traditions. We've had Rumi.
Pema Chodron is big. I see we got her book right here on the table.
Pocket Pema, very warm.
Our pocket Pema, yes.
And, I think the original ones, or some of the early ones, had one of our favorite poets, who's Mary Oliver. Yeah, French call her Mary.
Princess on our Prayer Porch for sure.
Yeah, maybe someone should tell us about what is the nuts and bolts of Prayer Porch?
Yeah.
We've kind of spoken around it a bit.
Can I add one thing?
Of course.
I'm trying so hard not to interrupt Ed. Ed
You
is a
succeeded.
dynamic. I realized, even just listening to the last recording we did, is that it's a very dynamic. It's very dynamic.
Maybe they should start a podcast.
Right.
We'll be stepping on each other's work all the time.
Contemporary Catholics.
This is totally an aside, but I so appreciate the way you and Jason, Row and Jason, listen to one another and give, and your guests, like, you give such space for us to answer questions. So anyway, I'm just going to interject something here that I almost interrupted Ed with, but I won't. Not only is Mike your godfather, and I want him to be my godfather, but also we are each other's children's godparents.
Mm.
Yes,
we are.
So we've extended that as well.
by claiming. You started it, Rowena, by claiming Francesca.
Yeah, Jason and I have this vision that our children would have different godparents from one another. They would each have their own set of godparents. And then I don't even know who we had picked out for Francesca, but Ro just jumped right in there as soon as she met Francesca and was like, she's mine.
Well, you discovered that she, after a day at the Summer Palace in Beijing, when you were visiting us in January of 2007, that she was extremely choreographable. And you were like, she's mine. And we were all, okay, Ed, go right ahead and be the godfather. Ride those coattails. And then you claimed Skyla. I was Skyla's godfather.
Two godfathers, mamas. Yes. Lucky Skyla.
So I jumped in and claimed Julius, who had another.
Who also has Raul as
Yes.
father. So yeah, we share, and we've added, beautifully, we have two Jewish godchildren as well, collectively, which is beautiful. But what I want to say about that is one of the things I'm so appreciative at the Porch for. It's been challenging raising Christian children, I think, in our household. We have moved a lot. We have had a hard time finding the right spiritual home for us. We have, in China, at different times that we've lived there, we've had both interdenominational Christian homes as well as Catholic homes within China. Catholicism can be quite complicated and has been quite complicated within both expat and local communities within China. It wasn't easy for us to find the right Catholic communities. We didn't always want to be in them. And Prayer Porch has been this constant in my children's lives in the last 10 plus years. And we've never actively invited them in or made them come to Prayer Porch in the way that, like, on Sundays they would have to come to church with us. And they've always been eavesdroppers, disruptors, active participants, dare I say, pray tell gossips around Prayer Porch, because, like, when you're praying for somebody and a child overhears that you're praying, why are you praying for grandma? Or why are you praying for your friend, whoever it is? Their ears perk up and they want to know the backstory. And so we have at various times had that our children have seen this morning after morning after morning. And I'm very appreciative of Prayer Porch and the role that it's played in their spiritual development in a very passive way, but that with them being, I will dare say, incredibly active, which is swinging around for it. Totally.
And it's a kind of modeling too, right? It's a kind of modeling of having a spiritual practice. And I think right now, I think it would be nice to get into the house, but I want to provide a little bit of context for that too, which is, I'm sort of jumping ahead in the outline here because it feels appropriate. Yes, just to encourage our listeners to listen from a place of, hey, is this something that I might want to do? And there's as many ways to do it as there are people who want to do it. You can do it any old way you want. This is how we do. Which was modeled on Chicago, but has diverged in a lot of ways. Yeah. So the first thing we do is we say the extended version of the Serenity Prayer, which we might as well just say, right? With the edit, which we can talk about afterwards. I know.
Can we just add one thing? That we have a regular participant in our local friend Lynn. And we have at various times, I know, hi Lynn. At various times we have people that would cycle through, that will pop in, especially when there's
Pete or
Helen and Joel have joined.
Helen and Joel. We've had Ruds.
Ruds was regular during the pandemic. Ruds was with us a lot.
Temple, Maria, my sister Mary Elise for a little spell, and we invite any of these people back at any time to join us from very different faith traditions.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Steph and David too. Yeah. So a lot of people have come onto the porch.
Right. Yeah. And so all of this is like add people on a phone call. Yeah. Like adding callers.
Conference call.
Yes. We do it on the phone.
So there's the who. And there's the what.
Yeah. Ro, it looked like you were gonna, when I mentioned the Serenity Prayer, and it looked like you had something to say.
Say it. Let's say it.
Oh, we want to say it.
Well,
I think I was going to say
Yeah.
that when we've tried to say it together, that sometimes it goes south.
Okay.
So that's what I was going to say.
But I think that's kind of a beautiful thing.
Great.
Yeah.
And
It'll be like go ahead.
I love this. This is a little way that I'm like, we get really excited when we hear that everyone's on. And then we're down to, like, we know we have to get down to business. And so someone will very quickly say, Should we
pray it up?
Because that's what initiates, like, beyond the, like, oh, Lynn, you're joining us today. Are you back yet? Where are you calling us from? Like, enough of the chit chat. I feel like Chicago's really good about no chit chat.
Yeah.
They have their ritual, but we're a little bit more chattier. So yes.
Should we pray it up?
Let's pray it up.
God,
Grant
grant me this serenity to accept things I cannot change. That's for you, Ro. That's for you, Ro. To send it south as fast as possible. Okay, let's do it again.
Accept the things
I cannot change. The courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Grant me patience for changes that take time, gratitude for all that I have, compassion for those with different struggles, and the strength to get up and try again one day at a time. Amen. If you are familiar with that extended mix and you heard compassion instead of tolerance, that was something I brought in because I'm not tolerant of the word tolerant. Because there's a whole language thing, lots to be said about it. I mean, obviously, you all know me as paying a particular kind of attention to language, and there's just some implications about the word tolerance that are, it's like, I'll tolerate you. Oh, thank you. So we decided to bring compassion instead.
It's a larger spiritual challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I can tolerate almost anything or anyone.
I love that the Chicago Prayer Porch adopted your edit.
I was so honored when I heard that. And moved by, first of all, that you all were willing to go that route. And
It's so much better.
That's why it's so great that you joined.
oh, stop!
For many reasons.
Thank you. So we finished the Serenity Prayer, and then it's just sort of sometimes there's some silence. Somebody jumps in. I think probably Ed, you're kind of self-appointed MC a lot of the time, and of course
Rowena crazy.
you always put yourself last. Not always, and sometimes you'll jump in with prayers. But I've noticed that you're very generous with the space that you offer to the rest of us before claiming space yourself. But a kind of round robin. What's on your prayer heart?
Yeah, there's some prompts that will ask one another. What's in your prayer heart? Or how can we pray for you today?
Mm-hmm. We have different kinds of prayers. Prayers of inquiry, prayers of petition, prayers of gratitude. Pray tells. Yeah. So sometimes if we want to get into the more sort of chit chatty stuff, we always put everything, like if we're going to make plans, we'll have a prayer of logistics. It's very playful.
We'll have a prayer against one another.
Yeah, exactly. When we're annoying one another. So can I just say prayer against, you very rarely annoy people, Colette. So I don't know if I'm ever saying prayers against you, but I have prayers said against me.
Sometimes we'll say prayer against ourselves.
We will, yes. Prayer against myself.
And the latest one is the prant, which is
It's brand new.
brand new.
It's brand new.
Off the presses.
The prayer rant,
Rant.
which is great though, because sometimes that's what a prayer is. It's just a rant. Oh, yes. Go, please.
Yes. Well, and a reading is an example of a prayer rant. Or I'm sorry. A prant is a prant, and a reading is another component of the prayer porch. Typically, the Chicagoans have a lot of readings. I think they use the missal. They have other
The maxims. Let's see.
the maxims. Yes, they have a sort of structured reading thing. We typically end with a reading, but we're kind of loosening up a little bit. But anyways, in the spirit of prant, I wrote this down from November 2nd, 2020. It was Dia de los Muertos. We were on the prayer porch, and this was your prayer. I attributed it to Jesus. Jesus is what I wrote.
Never again.
Oh my.
That name be uttered as
Jesus.
I'm very I don't know what was going on, but you said, Jesus, I'm praying straight to you. What I understand that you lived and died for is not what is happening in this country right now. So come on, enough.
Oh, wow. It was election. It was the elections, right? It was the election, the presidential election.
There it is.
Okay, I will claim credit for Joe Biden winning.
I remember us dancing out on your patio.
Wow, geez, I was having an attitude that morning.
But I love that Rowena.
It was good. That was a prance. That was a full-on prance.
Don't you have a notebook of quotes? The two of the ladies have kept notes from
All of us, things that we say.
I'll claim credit for purchasing.
Yes, it is.
Beautiful books.
And
Spiral
mine
bound.
says, joy comes in the morning on the cover, and there's a sketch of a steaming coffee cup. And then that's just a line notebook, which is not yet filled, but I will write down quotes. Often, if I'm reading something very spiritual and there's a quote, that's something that I want to add to our prayer porch. Like I want to read it at some point, or quotes from you all, things that I hear. And I also gave Rowena one as well. That is the joyful, be joyful always is on the cover with a squirrel. Always be joyful, never stop praying, whatever happens, give thanks.
Thessalonians? I don't even know.
So there are all these Bible quotes in the very bottom of our
Thessalonians? I don't even know.
Thessalonians, yeah. Which honestly were not all that biblical.
Also a departure, I think, from Prayer Porch Chicago.
I think Prayer Porch Chicago is as biblical as Catholics can get, but it's much more tied to the liturgical calendar than it is to any type of Bible study evangelical. So is my observation anyway.
Good, thank you.
And Mike, you can correct me if I'm wrong. No offense to evangelicals. So, for example, May 4th, 2022, another occasional prayer partner is Paris.
Yeah,
Richie, Rowie's mom. And at Carl's and her husband's deathbed, she shared and said, we are so blessed to have people to pray for.
Yeah.
And I think of that frequently. That's in my Prayer Porch notebook. And I think of that frequently in our own practices, what a blessing it is to actually have people to pray for.
Thank you so much, Colette. That's so beautiful. It's kind of awe-inspiring to me that my mother, as I shared on maybe episode 3, season 2, episode 3, I said, my grandma was like, Paris, you have to sit down. What I'm about to tell you. Rena's going to church. So,
Rena would be Rowena.
that's my nickname, my family nickname. And yes, I go to church, but I sort of block out the parts that I don't agree with, all of the patriarchal stuff. And my mom doesn't. My mom's like, don't you love Jesus? And I'm like, well, depends who we're talking about. And yet,
if it's Jesus.
I do love Jesus. But my mom loves that we have Prayer Porch, as funky as it is, right? And it's pretty funky. It's like my mom sees it as a prayer circle. She sees it as it is a prayer circle. It is a prayer circle. And I think that's why I know that when I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2014, so the same year your mom died. Actually, your mom never knew that I had, I got diagnosed and your mom died, in the same window. So your mom also had breast cancer, so I feel like that would have, not been thrilling for her to know that. Anyways, I didn't know. My mom gave me a Bible, and I was like, great.
When you were diagnosed?
When I was diagnosed with breast cancer, my mom sent me a Bible that was like a workshop Bible, here's how you read a Bible, kind of. Even as I was raised with Bibles, she's not wrong in thinking that I don't turn to the Bible, and I still don't turn to the Bible. If my mom's listening to this, which she might be, because Ed will probably tell her about the podcast, which I try to avoid telling her because, we have our different dynamics. But anyways, my mom loves
the ritual of Prayer Porch. And what I knew at 2014, my mom gave me the Bible, was like, I don't pray. I don't pray. And when I was very little, I prayed, like, now I lay me down to sleep kind of prayers with my dad. And my dad would come to me and I would pray for everybody to sort of drag out bedtime, like pray for the milkman, and pray for Jimmy who pushed me in the snow cone line, and pray for, every relative I could think of. But then I stopped praying. And I really associated prayer with this thing that made me want to move away from the church. Go back and listen to
Season 2, episode 3.
If you care to hear that story. But anyways, praying with the Tobins on the prayer porch felt like such a different ritual. And it felt like coming home to understanding how to pray. Like it just is so inclusive. The prayers, I think I've said this before, I'm remembering thinking one thing I try to encompass in our Porch West is our grander prayers for the rest of the world, because I can get so fixed on my little bubble. I'm praying for my knee, I'm praying for my niece, and praying for, my needs. One, alliterative Ed. And I want to, as my mom said, to bring back to what Colette said, like, it's so beautiful to have other people to pray for. So thinking outside of ourselves and feeling so helpless, yay, we had the election of Joe Biden. We're in such a fraught moment globally right now, and the prayer porch gives us an opportunity to do something energetically. That's what it feels like. Prayer porch to me is so much about energy. It's about putting energy out into the world, putting love out into the world for these situations, issues, things that feel so out of our control and beyond our ability to change them at all. And it's constructive.
I feel like when I hear you say that energy, what I'm also thinking of, like, I honestly feel like it's this compass, like that we're like adjusting our compass for the day.
I was going to say it's orienting.
It's orienting, right? So yes, it's that energy. And I do believe in the power of prayer and in that energy. I really do. I don't think one needs to believe in the power of prayer, though, to get the kind of benefits and spiritual, like presence and development that I feel like I found in Prayer Porch. For that way, I also feel like it's this way of centering my day, of orienting my day.
Can I jump in and speaking of orientation, I think I want to offer a closure to the what of Prayer Porch, because we always end by saying blessed days. So every day begins with a blessing and kind of a holy gift to start the day. And then we say blessed days, love yous, moi.
Yep, exactly.
And the moi is that a JoJo thing originally? The sound
kiss?
of the kiss.
The kiss.
Moi.
I think it is a JoJo thing.
Some of us associate that with JoJo.
Interesting.
Our youngest daughter.
Yeah, Francesca, our goddaughter. But yeah, so there's the blessed days, love yous, moi, goodbye.
Yeah.
And then someone does the Colette, I think, especially does the airplane stewardess, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
There's a lot of humor in it. So for me, it is a beautiful orientation and closure. Begins with a serenity prayer, ends with a kind of a spiritual orientation to the rest of the day.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about what Prayer Porch has meant to me, especially in recent months of challenge and difficulty. And I don't know what I would do without you all each morning. It's like I've never been a morning person. Mornings are always the hardest time for me. I wake up, for some people this happens in the evening. For evening is when I feel the greatest sense of possibility. And then I go to bed and I wake up and it's just like, now what? So I'll often arrive at the porch with just like in a down kind of, not always, right? Sometimes my energy's up and that's great. But I just know that the state that I'm in after Prayer Porch is better than the state of before Prayer Porch. And when I say my state, it's my spiritual state. Like I am more grounded. I am feeling better about myself. I'm feeling more ready for whatever challenges the day may present. And it's just such an incredible gift that I have you to lift me up and that we have this structure and this practice for doing that every weekday. Every weekday.
Monday through Friday.
And not the 7 day a week, 6:30 a.m. Mike and Dorothea, OG, Chicago Prayer Porch.
Which we did discover happened. I didn't know happened every day of the week until we went
on our pilgrimage.
Were you going to say something about?
I'm not finding it.
Yeah, what are you looking for?
A gift that Ro gave me years ago now, which is a picture of Dorothea.
Oh yeah, why would I not want to?
With her arms extended.
It was always right here.
I know it is somewhere. I think between the cookbooks, with her arms extended. That Rowena mounted in a little frame with the words, "Why wouldn't I want to get up to pray?
Why would I not want to wake up and pray?
Yeah. Like these party people, Mike and Dorothea.
I don't know when they sleep.
I don't know when they sleep, but it doesn't matter how late they've been to bed the night before or what they've been up to. They wake up, they're there. And Dorothea has like baked scones and gotten the coffee going, etc. It's quite incredible.
It's really something.
And I have that like spirit too of like, I will wake up. It's very rare that I miss.
It was like, I was there when she said that. It was a day, maybe one of the only days that she slept through Prayer Porch.
Oh.
And it, like you said, she was up so late the night before. And I was like, I am so happy that you got a morning of sleeping in. And she was like, very off. She was like, no, why would I not want to wake up and pray? And of course, if this is like a daily centering gift that helps her connect with her deceased baby and all of these people to sort of orient her, yes, for the day, like I felt like I'd been dismissive, but then I really got it, like the feeling of being outside of herself and like not wanting that to happen again. And I think that's such a testament to the power of Prayer Porch. Like it actually is a ray of sunshine to help you on your way that day, because God knows what every day might present us with.
But we don't necessarily. For me, that's one of the meaningful things about Prayer Porch. To kind of like come back to Jason's question of what's the meaning, what does it mean to us? And I have come to feel really grounded by Prayer Porch also. And one of the things I would say it has done for me is helped me to know myself and be honest and real about what I'm going through because of you good people who are inviting candor and vulnerability into the ritual we have, because I think it's easy to gloss over stuff that's bubbling under the surface or that can lead to irritability or deeper anxieties or wounds. And I have felt able to be honest about things I was worried about or afraid of or ashamed of or even hopeful and joyful about. That's been a real gift of Prayer Porch for me.
I wonder if you don't mind my asking.
I'm not taking any questions right now.
What's
Kidding. Go ahead.
what's on your prayer heart right now, my friend?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm going to skip to another thing we had talked about talking about, which is like one of our best memories of Prayer Porch. And I told Jason, now I'm going to call him Jesus from now on. Jesus. Jesus.
You're problematic in the bedroom anyway, the lady chamber.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Adjustments with my Jesus, which is what Jason.
I would say that one of the reasons I have been able to be so honest about what I'm going through. I'm sorry. I know this in the Lady King. That's like the first of the Harry Potter books. I'm kind of racing X-rated version of Harry Potter.
Fanfic.
All right, forget about Jesus in the Lady Chamber. Okay. One reason I've been able to be so honest about what I've been going through is that Jason has been that way. Jason Patton has brought tears to the Prayer Porch at times, and a level of humility and sadness, despair even, about moments where you've been really struggling. And it has been so moving to me to see that in you and to be inspired by that in you, knowing how hard it is for us guys to be emotionally vulnerable. So I'm going to give you a Prayer Porch cheers.
Oh,
Coffee cheers.
That's another part of our...
then you'll do a coffee cheers.
This is
For the discerning listener,
You can hear that's not a coffee type of... Yeah. Oh,
It's been very moving and meaningful for me to
Thank
see you be that, hear you be that vulnerable.
thank you, Ed.
Can I say something? Because I knocked out all the time.
I'm done. I'm
Me
complete
too.
over here.
It's related. So what's on my prayer heart? Prayer gratitude for that this, I feel, Prayer Porch has served us in all of our global travels as well. And coffee cheers, one of my best memories of Prayer Porch is being on the, what floor in Nanjing?
I don't know where you're referring to.
Intercontinental
78th.
78th floor of the Intercontinental Hotel.
That's so high.
We went there with you.
I remember.
Yeah. They had 78 kinds of martinis.
They have 78 kinds of
my God.
martinis, and I happened to be there traveling for work. And
After we had moved here.
after we moved
So you were
here.
back in Nanjing.
And I was winding down my day staying in that hotel near our old home in Nanjing, and got myself a dirty martini. Of course, they have 78 different martinis, and I chose the classic dirty martini. I love my olives. And I had did Prayer Porch with you all. I called in, and you were having your coffee in the morning, and I was having my martini in Nanjing.
It must have been late as hell at night.
It was very late at night. But you showed up for me, and I showed up for you. And through the whole year, too, that Jason was traveling last year, in many time zones, he joined us at very often.
Whenever I could.
Whenever he could, which was amazing as well. So a prayer of gratitude for that we have been able to transcend space and time and lift each other up in prayer via Prayer Porch.
I think if I have a wish for our listeners, it's that if you feel awakening in you any desire to get some kind of a taste of what this is like, just gather. Go one person, call your best friend, right? Call your best friend and do it at 2:37 p.m. I mean, it doesn't have to be in the morning. Just I think the unifying principle here is gathering in community to explore one's spiritual life and one's spiritual growth and supporting one another. lifting one another up through the struggles, through the celebrations, the highs and all the lows of this wacky human journey that all of us are on. That's an invitation I would offer to our listeners. There's, we've given you some thoughts and some ideas about how you might structure it and things you might, you can toss all of that, right?
You don't have to have a porch.
And right, we don't do it. Sometimes we do it out on our deck, but
Yeah. And you also don't have to be Christian. Like, I'm very
oh my
aware.
God, so do not have to be.
I know. And I bring, I'm very aware that we are Christian practitioners, but we bring lots and lots of other practices into this space. And as Jason was saying that, I was thinking about there is this beautiful scriptural passage within the Christian tradition of Christ saying, when two or more are gathered in my name, there I am in their midst. If I were of a Christian denomination other than Catholicism, I would actually know where that came from in the Bible, but I don't know where it's from. But I would say of any, that really speaks to me, not just Christ in our midst, but the divinity, the spark of the divine, the welcoming of the divine when gathered with just one other human being, acknowledging need and vulnerability and need to pray, regardless of your denomination, and how one might imagine the divine.
Could you imagine if Sister Mary Colette had been a priest? Or
Well, I mean, sorry.
Well, I think
Yes, she would have knocked it out of the park. My mind went to an unkind place. Well, I'll just say, it's just like, well, she couldn't be in the Catholic Church because it's only men in the Catholic Church, which is part of the reasons I'm not Catholic, but, well, I just went there anyway. But yes, absolutely. Had you you could have been a nun, and I'm really glad you didn't, because I wouldn't have gotten to marry you.
you text before me, that might be my next vocation. But, absolutely.
Ed's point is well taken.
But I have a vocation, and it's very much alive and well
yeah.
in this family, in this marriage, in my parenting, in my work, and in my prayer porch practice with you all.
Yeah.
Do we have a reading do we feel like we're ready to close?
We didn't talk about the pilgrimage.
We mentioned it. Did you want to talk about the pilgrimage a bit more?
Ooh, did we? Did I miss
Well,
that?
I feel like
there was
we
some
could-
mention of it.
It's such a tease.
And maybe, why don't you say a little bit about the pilgrimage, though?
Well, we've had this. So there's there's Prayer Porch OG Chicago, and there's Prayer Porch West, and a decade plus into Prayer Porch West, Ed had the great idea of having a pilgrimage to bring Prayer Porch West to Prayer Porch Chicago. Prayer Porch
Origins.
Chicago. The Origins. And we did it in April. It was actually my birthday. We were going for a wedding, Ed and I. A Tobin wedding. Tobin wedding, yes.
First same-sex wedding.
Yes, amazing.
Cousin wedding.
Another one of Martha's brothers.
Let's back up for just 1 second. Since we're going there,
Yes.
I'm the context boy. So I'm going to jump in with just a little more context, which was, it was a full-on vision that Ed had. A beautiful vision. Like, we need to make this
For
happen.
like years.
Yes. Like there was he held an intention, and then we started holding it with Ed that we wanted to do this. And life being life, it was just like, there just a time never presented itself until, this wedding, which coincided with when we thought Ed would probably be ready to travel about 3.
I didn't think he'd be ready to travel. I never thought this was going to happen.
Wow.
Well, I took heart in what Dr. Chiquetas, your surgeon, because you said, this is so great. I mean, what I recall, the conversation that you reported was one of you asked Dr. Chiquetas, well, there's this wedding, and this is not long after your surgery. I mean, you were still very puddly was the term that we were using, right? Like melting into a puddle halfway through the day. And one of you asked Dr. Jacadis, can Ed dance at this wedding? And his response was, could you dance before your surgery?
That was just one moment of humor.
Absolutely. And so when I heard that, I was like, okay, I trust the doc that this is going to happen. Oh, ye of little faith, Colette. Come on now. I know, because exactly.
And it was touch and go. Whether you guys could go.
Whether we could go.
But ultimately Temple went.
Yes, some of our other
Yes.
partners. Yeah.
So the everything aligned perfectly for this to happen. So back over to you, Rowena. Continue your narration.
That's it. We did it. We got there. We woke up. Some of us all Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I prayed every 4 mornings.
4 mornings in a row at 6:30 a.m.
I batted 500, which, by the way,
Yes.
if you're a baseball player, will get you into the Hall of Fame. It would be the best career batting average of all time.
That's so awesome.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
We had the heat lamps on.
Yeah, we did have
Right?
It was warm when we got there, but then the rain came through and it got cold for the last 2 mornings.
It was early spring, right?
Yeah, it was.
Or it was like mid-spring.
And
Anyways, it was very Chicago.
We had Mike's birthday the next day. Right?
We did. Mike's birthday, which was Sunday, right? It was Sunday. It was Mike's birthday.
You do prayer porch on Sunday and people show up in person. I'm like, we have church on Sunday and we have prayer porch too?
Oh, yeah. Every day. Every day. Yeah, not.
Every day means every day.
I was there. I loved it.
Yeah, it was. It was so beautiful, right? It was very addictive. I think that's why I had to bring it back here.
So much love. It's just overflowing with love. The rhythm is very different. It's much more, there's a lot more momentum behind it. It's much more, I don't know the word I'm looking for, kinetic. It feels much more kinetic to me.
They have a lot of music.
And they'll invite people to sing. Yeah, exactly. And beautifully sung
Yes.
songs.
And they know birthdays and they'll be like, this is a special song for this birthday. I received a birthday poem from Carol.
Oh my God.
Oh.
I have it right here.
Please read it.
Tips. Is this the one?
Yeah, will you read
You
it?
want to read that poem there?
It was written by Donna Ashworth, gifted by Carol and Donna. Friendships. I don't think friendships are given enough credit. We sign no contract, we say no vows, and yet we are there for each other, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health. We laugh together in life-giving amounts. We cry together without shame. We pull each other up out of the mud again and again and again. I don't think friendships are given enough credit. Unwritten love stories, each and every one. Amen.
That's a good reading.
That kind of sums up Prayer Porch pretty well.
Blessed days?
Blessed days, everyone. Love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Mwah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's all for this episode of No Left Field. If you enjoyed it, give us a 5-star rating and follow the podcast. That will help others find us. Until next time, may our left fields be ever expanding.